Hello there. What is up, Star Wars fans? Welcome back to my channel. Let's talk about the first two episodes of Obi-Wan Kenobi. This is a series we were all looking forward to, but does it live up to the hype? We're going to get into it. Spoiler-filled review, and there's a lot of things we have to talk about, especially that ending of Episode 2. But let's start at the beginning with Episode 1 and that epic, crazy Order 66 flashback, which I believe is going to mean a lot more when we get a reveal. It's a prediction of mine. We'll talk about it, but just the scene itself is pretty incredible, and you're starting off on this action-packed front, the one that I did not anticipate at all. But then we get into the real story, what we're all here for, and that is that of Obi-Wan watching over Luke Skywalker in this creepy, somewhat decrepit, very lonely type of way. And not only is Obi-Wan having flashbacks in this first episode, we see shades and scenes of what happened in the prequels, but he's also calling out for Qui-Gon Jinn at the beginning, and that was somewhat heartbreaking. You really feel the sense of loneliness with this character, and that's something we have to feel to get on board with him, but he is so determined to keep the shtick of Ben, like, I am no longer Obi-Wan, I am Ben. We see that when he has the conversation with Benny Safdie, a Safdie brother, Uncut Gems, anybody, who is a Jedi hiding out on that planet. And then we have the Inquisitors, not only the Grand Inquisitor, but the others, and they're coming after that Jedi. But we have one Inquisitor. She is so determined to find Obi-Wan, and we don't know exactly why just yet. Here's where I think the flashback could come into play. There is definitely a backstory there we are going to explore, but she is on a bit of a different mission than everyone else, and she's kind of the rebellious Inquisitor, if you will. But like I said, Obi-Wan doesn't want to draw any attention to himself. He's watching over Luke, watching out for Luke. He's doing everything he can to keep him safe. In the background, Uncle Owen with the line that we saw in the trailer, yeah, what you did with Anakin, that's not going to play here. Just leave us alone. And I believe he meant it when he was being threatened by the Inquisitor. He said that the Jedi, I don't care for him, don't like him, get out of here. And that felt genuine to me. Even though he's clearly just looking after Luke, that felt very genuine, and I loved that moment. But then we have something happening off-planet, a very familiar planet, a very familiar location, and we get General Organa. We get a lot of returning elements, things about Star Wars that we will recognize, but one character in particular that I did not expect to be a big aspect of the show, and that is Princess Leia. Princess Leia, at the young age, I believe she says she's 10 years old at one point, and that for me was just, it was magical, it was wonderful, but it was also completely unexpected. Not only are they showing a little bit of her childhood in this first episode, but she, not Luke, Leia is really the main focus of these first two episodes because she's the one that gets kidnapped and Obi-Wan has to go after her. But we get a peek into her life, her rude little cousins being all, you don't belong here. And she is, snippy, quirky, funny. She has the one-liner. She embodies the Princess Leia that we know, way older than her age. At least she thinks like an older person, and I loved it. I thought the little girl did a wonderful job portraying Leia. She's cute, but she's also on top of things in a very Leia type of way. But back to the Inquisitors, man. They are ruthless, it seems like, cutting off someone's hand and threatening Uncle Owen, doing whatever it takes to carry out their goal. And we see later on that they do indeed carry out their goal. After rejecting and turning down Benny Safdie's Jedi, we see that he's dead a bit later in the episode. And I do believe Obi-Wan feels some remorse for that, and that's part of what sets him off on his mission, one that he did not want to go on at first. So that was a very sad moment, and the Inquisitors, they'll do what it takes, and they'll get the job done. So at the end of the day, Episode 1, I liked the tone that it set. It felt very authentic. It was quiet at first, but it's also haunting in a way when Obi-Wan's having his flashbacks. when he calls out to Qui-Gon, I'm fairly certain, I'm almost positive that's setting up for a bit later in the series. I think we're going to see a Qui-Gon Force ghost, especially now that Obi-Wan has his Force abilities. At least they're coming back to him, if you will. So then we venture into episode 2. And the first thing I want to talk about is a big old Easter egg. We see a clone trooper, a homeless version of a clone trooper, and it's funny because Obi-Wan gives him that look like, you were a big part of the reason why the Jedi fell, but here, I'm going to give you some money anyway. Now, some people are saying, is that Rex? We don't know. I think it's just a random clone trooper. Regardless, it was really cool to see Tamora Morrison back as a version of the character that he continues to play. And then we have someone else who was not surprising. We knew he was going to be in it. But at first I'm like, oh, Kumail Nanjiani's a Jedi. All right, I didn't expect... No, he's not a Jedi. He's just a swindler. He's swindling people, acting like he's a Jedi, getting money. He is helping people, but... And we actually see that, a little bit of a character turn later on in the episode. He does indeed try to help Obi-Wan, even though he's not good at putting up a front for the Inquisitor. But yeah, he's swindling people, and Obi-Wan doesn't like this, calls him out for who he really is. I thought that was an interesting twist on the character, and I like the character that Kumail played. Here's what I loved in this episode. I loved Leia's banter with Obi-Wan when she says, you seem like kind of an old, beat-up man. I'm like, Leia is a freaking savage, man. I didn't expect... Well, first of all, I didn't expect her to be in it. Second of all, I didn't expect that type of banter from her, but she really does a wonderful job all throughout the episode. The only thing that kind of annoyed me was her running from Obi-Wan and causing all of this conflict to happen and people seeing them. And I'm like, Leia, just hear him out. I know he's a creepy old man. How would you know he's a Jedi? And she sees the wanted poster. So in a way, I understand that. She's very young. But at the end of the day, she does kind of make things go a bit more difficult. Obi-Wan has to chase her down. And of course, the moment where he uses the Force to save her life, that's when it all really starts to come back to him. It really, really comes back to him a bit later on, but just him trying to keep her safe. First of all, him finding her was impressive when she's taken in that first episode. And obviously, the people that take her, they're being paid off, if you will, by our rebellious Inquisitor. She's going to do what it takes to get Obi-Wan, and she's on her way in this episode. So I found that to be a nice storyline. He's venturing away from Luke, which was a bit shocking for me, but going after Leia. Part of me is like, well, wouldn't Leia recognize him a bit later on? Well, she's so much older at that point, and this was probably somewhat of a traumatizing experience. So going back to the Inquisitors, I was almost positive at a point. I'm pretty sure we knew this from Rebels regardless, but the Inquisitors being former Jedi, that's confirmed by Obi-Wan in this episode, who have turned away from their own kind, and now they are hunting down Jedi, obviously, and we have the Grand Inquisitor, who wasn't as much of a threat as I thought he would be, especially knowing him from the animated series, but I feel as if there is a backstory with our Inquisitor that we're following. She's after Obi-Wan. She's clearly on a mission, and knowing that the Inquisitors, at least some of them, used to be Jedi, and there's a line in this episode saying, all the power in the world can't mask the stench beneath who you are. I believe that stench he is referring to is her being a former Jedi. I feel as if the Order 66 flashback may be about her. And whether she goes on to be a Padawan of Anakin Skywalker or something happens to where she has this vendetta against Obi-Wan Kenobi, we're going to see that play out. There has to be a reason why, and I think that has something to do with it. But as she hunts down Obi-Wan and she finally has him in her grasp, the Grand Inquisitor comes in. He's like, hey, chill. Nope, we're not doing this today. We don't want to end the series right now. We're going to keep it going for a little bit. And she says Anakin is still alive. And that kind of triggers Obi-Wan. He's like, are you kidding me? There's no possible way this is happening right now. There's no way. And this is the point to where he finds out, and I believe he truly knows, thanks to the Force, that Anakin is alive. And we cut to that scene of Anakin in the tank and the prosthetics and knowing that that is Hayden Christensen is pretty cool to think about. But something else happens at the end of this episode, something that I'm sure is going to spark conversation, and a lot of people are going to be freaking out. We see the Grand Inquisitor get stabbed by a lightsaber. She turns on the Grand Inquisitor, stabs him. Obi-Wan having his flashbacks over here hunched down in the corner, and that's kind of shocking. Well, it's really shocking because I'm pretty positive he doesn't die until like 5 years from now in Rebels. So either they've forgotten about Rebels, and I don't think this is the case, or the Grand Inquisitor's not dead. Now, a lot of people are going to say, but Austin, he got stabbed by a lightsaber. Darth Maul got cut in half. And Anakin got all of his limbs cut off and burned alive. Both of them are still, just throw them in a tank, right? Both of them are still alive. I don't think he's dead. There's no way they are looking past the canon of Rebels. There's no way they're going to do that. So I feel as if, it's understandable people are freaking out just a bit by what happened, and it looks like he's dead. But if they're going to follow canon, and I feel like they have to at this point, he's still alive. But what a way to end that episode. What a way to tease us for next week. Get us excited for Darth Vader. If you guys are excited and you like this video, you want to see me cover more Obi-Wan, be sure to drop that thumbs up down below and leave your comments. Are you enjoying the show so far? Just after the first 2 episodes, the tone, the cinematography, the filmmaking, the direction, I like where we're headed right now. It's interesting. Liked episode 1 more than episode 2, but I thought episode 2 did more in terms of action. We're definitely going to get more action, especially lightsaber action, now that he's getting the Force. It's all coming back to him, right? But I'm really enjoying where we're at right now with this show, and I need your thoughts down below. I appreciate you all for watching. Let me know your concerns when it comes to the Grand Inquisitor, but I'm telling you right now, he's going to be fine. Somehow he's going to be fine, and I believe we may get Darth Vader in the next episode after that tease. I'm so excited. Thank you guys so much for watching. Hello there.